take a slow, soft breath with me for a moment and let your heart become still enough to hear a simple truth that can change the way you live, the way you feel, and the way you love. Loving others becomes easier when you love and accept yourself. It becomes softer, calmer, and more natural. It stops feeling like something you must force, prove, or earn. It starts flowing from you in a way that feels gentle and true. So many people spend their lives trying to be more kind, more patient, more loving, more giving, and yet deep inside, they still feel tense, tired, and not enough. They wonder why love feels heavy. They wonder why relationships feel painful. They wonder why giving so much can still leave them feeling empty. But the answer is often closer than they think. The answer begins within. The answer begins with the relationship you have with yourself. There is a deep healing that happens when you stop fighting who you are. There is peace that begins to rise when you stop being your own hardest judge. There is a softness that comes into your words, your thoughts, your energy, and your relationships when you no longer live at war with yourself. You see, when there is pain inside, that pain touches everything. It touches how you speak. It touches how you listen. It touches how you react. It touches what you expect from others. It touches what you fear. It touches what you believe you deserve. But when there is love inside, that love also touches everything. It changes the way you see yourself. It changes the way you see others. It changes the way you receive love, and it changes the way you give it. For many people, loving others seems like the big goal. They want to be more caring. They want better relationships. They want peace with family, peace with friends, peace with life. They want to stop being hurt so easily. They want to stop feeling angry, needy, or unseen. They want to stop repeating the same pain. And often they try to solve all of this by focusing only on the outside. They try to fix every relationship. They try to say the right thing. They try to keep everyone happy. They try to hold everything together. But if the heart inside still feels rejected, then love on the outside will always feel difficult. If your own inner voice is harsh, then even the sweetest moment with another person may still feel unsafe. If you do not accept yourself, then love from others may never feel like enough. That is why this truth matters so much. Loving others is easy when you love and accept yourself, not because life becomes perfect, not because every relationship suddenly becomes simple, not because no one ever hurts you again, but because your heart is no longer empty and asking others to fill it. Your heart is no longer starving for approval. Your heart is no longer trying to prove its worth. When you love yourself, you stop begging for love in hidden ways. You stop chasing it. You stop fearing its loss every moment. You stop trying to earn it through being perfect, pleasing everyone, or hiding who you really are. Love becomes less like a struggle and more like a natural state. Think about how different it feels to sit with someone when you are at peace inside. You do not need to impress. You do not need to defend. You do not need to read every word and every silence as danger. You do not need to twist yourself into shapes just to be accepted. You can simply be present. You can listen with a softer heart. You can speak with more honesty. You can care without losing yourself. You can love without fear taking over every moment. This is the gift of self-love. This is the freedom of self-acceptance. It does not close your heart. It opens it. It does not make you cold. It makes you safe enough to stay warm. So many of us were never taught this. We were taught to be useful. We were taught to be nice. We were taught to give. We were taught to work hard. We were taught to prove ourselves. We were taught to think of everyone else first. We were taught to hide tears, hide fear, hide weakness, hide need. But we were not always taught how to sit with ourselves in kindness. We were not always taught how to say, I am enough as I am. We were not always taught how to make peace with our own heart. We were not always taught that loving ourselves is not selfish. We were not always taught that accepting ourselves is the start of deep healing. And because of that, many people grow up trying to love others while still carrying a quiet wound inside that says, I am not enough. I must do more. I must be more. I must earn love. That wound can make love feel very hard. It can make you overgive because you fear being left. It can make you hold back because you fear being hurt. It can make you stay silent because you fear rejection. It can make you angry because deep down you feel unseen. It can make you cling because you do not feel safe. It can make you pull away because closeness feels dangerous. The outer behavior may change from person to person, but the inner pain often sounds the same. It whispers, what if I am not lovable? What if who I am is not enough? What if love leaves? What if I open my heart and no one stays? These fears do not come from weakness, they come from hurt. And hurt does not need shame, hurt needs love. This is why self-love matters more than most people realize. It is not only about feeling better in your own mind. It is not only about speaking kindly to yourself in the mirror. It is not only about rest, care, or soft words, even though those things matter deeply. Self-love becomes the ground beneath every connection in your life. It becomes the quiet safety inside you that says, I belong to myself. I am worthy of love. I do not have to fight to be enough. When that safety grows, love becomes easier. You stop looking at others through the eyes of fear. You stop asking every relationship to heal every wound. You stop making other people responsible for your worth, and that changes everything. There is something very beautiful that happens when you begin to accept yourself. You stop spending so much energy trying to hide. You stop trying to be who you think others want. You stop feeling that your value can rise or fall based on how someone looks at you, speaks to you, or chooses you. You begin to live from a deeper place, a truer place, a more peaceful place. From that place, love is not desperate. It is generous. Love is not fearful. It is steady. Love is not a performance. It is presence. Love is not a trade where you give something just to make sure you get something back. Love becomes a gift that flows from a full heart. Maybe right now you feel far from that. Maybe right now loving yourself sounds difficult. Maybe accepting yourself feels strange, even impossible. Maybe you have spent years criticizing yourself, doubting yourself, pushing yourself, or feeling disappointed in yourself. Maybe you have learned to be hard on yourself because you thought it would make you stronger. Maybe you have believed that if you stop judging yourself, you will stop growing. But real growth does not come from hate. Real growth does not come from shame. Real growth comes from love. Love gives you the safety to heal. Love gives you the courage to change. Love gives you the peace to be honest. Love gives you the strength to begin again. Self-acceptance does not mean you think you are perfect. It means you stop making perfection the price of love. It means you stop saying, I will love myself when I fix this, when I achieve that, when I become better, when I look different, when I make no mistakes. It means you begin to say, I am willing to love myself here, now, in this moment, as I learn, as I grow, as I heal. That is a very different way of living. That is a holy kind of healing. That is where the heart begins to rest. And when the heart rests, love can move through it more freely. There is a softness in this message, but do not mistake softness for weakness. Softness is power when it comes from truth. A soft heart can hold great wisdom. A soft heart can heal what force never could. A soft heart can see pain and still choose love. A soft heart can forgive more easily, speak more gently, and stay more open without losing itself. Loving yourself is not making yourself small. It is returning to your true strength. It is remembering that your worth is not up for debate. It is remembering that your soul was never created to live in constant rejection of itself. Imagine how it would feel to wake up and not begin the day by criticizing yourself. Imagine what it would feel like to look at your own life with kinder eyes. Imagine what it would feel like to move through your relationships without always fearing that you are too much or not enough. Imagine what it would feel like to let love be simple, to let love be honest, to let love come from peace instead of pain. This is not some faraway dream. This begins in small moments. This begins in the way you speak to yourself. This begins in the way you treat your own heart. This begins in the choice to stop fighting yourself today, not someday. When you love and accept yourself, you no longer need every outside moment to tell you that you matter. Compliments become lovely, but not necessary for survival. Approval becomes pleasant, but not the thing that holds your worth together. Even love from others becomes easier to receive because you are no longer arguing with it inside your own mind. How many times has someone loved you, and yet you could not fully feel it because you did not believe you deserved it? How many times has kindness come your way, but your inner voice pushed it back? How many times has the heart closed, not because love was not there, but because fear was stronger? Self-love opens the door. Self-acceptance keeps the door from closing too quickly. Sometimes people think that loving themselves will make them proud, selfish, or distant, but true self-love does the opposite. It makes you humble in a beautiful way, because you stop trying so hard to prove yourself. It makes you generous because you are no longer giving from emptiness. It makes you kind because you know what pain feels like and you no longer want to pass that pain forward. It makes you honest because you no longer need to hide behind masks. It makes you peaceful because you are no longer running from yourself. That kind of love helps every relationship. That kind of love heals the room before you even speak. Maybe the deepest part of this truth is this: the love you are seeking from life becomes easier to feel when it already has a home inside you. If there is no inner home for love, then love always feels like something that may leave. But if love lives within you, then even when life changes, even when people come and go, even when seasons shift, there is still something steady inside. There is still a place to return to. There is still a voice that says, I am here for you. I accept you. I do not turn away from you. This is why healing begins within. This is why every loving relationship starts first in the heart. So today, let this truth settle gently into you. Loving others is easy when you love and accept yourself, not because you force it, not because you make yourself perfect, not because you never feel pain, but because love grows more naturally in a heart that feels safe, seen, and welcomed by itself. And perhaps right now, in this very moment, the deepest healing is simply this: to stop trying to become worthy of love and begin to remember that you already are. The main healing truth is very simple, and yet it touches every part of life. The love you give to yourself becomes the love you are able to give to others. The acceptance you offer yourself becomes the acceptance you are able to offer others. The peace you build inside becomes the peace you bring into every room, every conversation, every relationship, and every part of your day. This is why the journey inward matters so much. This is why self-love is not just a private feeling. It is a living force. It shapes your energy. It shapes your choices. It shapes the atmosphere around you. It shapes how love moves through you. When you do not love and accept yourself, even small things can feel heavy. A simple misunderstanding can feel like rejection. A delayed reply can feel like proof that you do not matter. A hard day can turn into a deep story about your worth. A moment of silence can make you question everything. When your own heart does not feel safe with you, the world can feel sharp. Other people can seem hard to trust. Love can feel uncertain. You may not even realize how much of your pain comes from the way you speak to yourself, the way you judge yourself, or the way you abandon yourself in moments when you need love the most. But when you begin to love yourself, something changes. Not all at once, perhaps, not in one dramatic moment, but slowly, softly, like morning light filling a room. You begin to feel less threatened by life. You begin to feel less shaken by what others do or do not do. You begin to listen more calmly. You begin to speak more honestly. You begin to react less from old wounds and more from present truth. Why? Because your inner world becomes more peaceful. Your heart stops living in constant fear. Your mind stops using every moment as proof that you are not enough, and from that place, love becomes easier. The healing truth is not that other people must change first. The healing truth is not that life must become easier first. The healing truth is not that you must wait until every wound disappears before you can live in love. The healing truth is that you can begin now by changing the way you meet yourself. You can begin now by becoming a kinder place to live inside. You can begin now by saying, I am willing to stop making war with myself. I am willing to stop turning against my own heart. I am willing to learn a new way. That willingness is powerful. That willingness opens the door. So many people think love is mostly about what happens between two people. And of course, love does live there too. But before love can move well between two people, it must first move gently within one heart. If your heart is full of self-hate, self-doubt, and self-rejection, then even love from another person may feel hard to hold. It may spill through your hands because you do not yet believe you deserve it. It may feel unsafe because you are still waiting for it to be taken away. It may feel confusing because the love being offered does not match the harsh voice you hear inside. This is why the first healing is always the one that happens within. Maybe there have been times in your life when you gave and gave and gave, hoping that if you were loving enough, patient enough, helpful enough, needed enough, then you would feel worthy. But worth does not grow through overgiving. Worth is not created by pleasing everyone. Worth does not come from becoming what others need. Your worth is already there. Self-love is simply the practice of returning to that truth. Self-acceptance is the practice of no longer arguing with that truth. The more you return to it, the less hard love feels. When you love yourself, you no longer expect other people to read your unspoken pain and fix it for you. You no longer build your whole heart around whether someone approves of you today. You no longer feel destroyed every time life does not go as planned. This does not mean you become cold or distant. It means you become rooted. It means you can stand in your own worth. It means you can love from truth instead of fear. It means you can say yes with freedom and no with peace. It means you can care deeply without disappearing inside the needs of others. The healing truth also asks something important of you. It asks you to be honest. It asks you to notice where you may be treating yourself in ways you would never treat someone you love. Would you speak to another person the way you sometimes speak to yourself? Would you judge someone else so quickly for one mistake? Would you tell another person that they are only lovable when they are perfect, productive, pleasing, calm, and always getting everything right? Most likely, no. Most likely, your heart would be kinder to another person than your mind has been to you. And that is why healing calls you inward. Healing asks you to become gentle with your own soul. Self-love is not always loud. Sometimes it is very quiet. Sometimes it looks like pausing before you see something cruel to yourself. Sometimes it looks like resting without guilt. Sometimes it looks like forgiving yourself for being human. Sometimes it looks like letting yourself cry instead of forcing yourself to stay hard. Sometimes it looks like saying, I am doing the best I can right now. Sometimes it looks like telling yourself the truth. I do not need to earn my place in this world. I belong here already. These small moments may seem simple, but they are changing everything. They are rebuilding your inner home. And when that inner home becomes more loving, you feel it in your outer life. You stop taking everything so personally. You stop panicking as quickly. You stop trying to control every response and every outcome. You stop shrinking yourself to be accepted. You stop giving from resentment. You stop holding love so tightly that it cannot breathe. Love becomes a space you can stand in, not a test you keep failing. Love becomes something you can share, not something you desperately chase. This is what self-acceptance does. It frees the heart. There is a deep spiritual peace in accepting yourself. It is almost like coming home after a very long journey. For so long, perhaps, you have searched for proof that you matter. You have searched for signs that you are enough. You have searched for some outside voice to say the exact words that would finally quiet your fear. But eventually, the deepest healing comes when that voice rises from within. It rises softly and says, I am here. I see you. I am not leaving you. I accept you as you are. I love you now. Not only when you have changed, not only when you have achieved more, not only when you are easier to love, I love you now. This is why loving yourself changes your relationships so deeply. When you accept yourself, you stop needing every person to make you feel whole. You stop asking love to remove all your fear without first meeting your fear with compassion. You stop demanding that others fill the emptiness that only self-love can heal. Then love becomes less heavy. It becomes less tangled. It becomes more free. You can enjoy people more. You can forgive more easily. You can listen more openly. You can stay more grounded when conflict appears. You can let love breathe. The healing truth also teaches that self-love is not separate from spiritual life. To accept yourself is to honor the life within you. To love yourself is to stop speaking against the very life that moves through you. There is something sacred in that. There is something holy in choosing not to insult your own soul. Every time you say, I am worthy of love, something inside begins to relax. Every time you say, I accept myself, something inside begins to heal. Every time you stop punishing yourself for being human, you make more space for peace. And where there is peace, love moves more easily. It is important to understand that accepting yourself does not mean never changing. It means changing from love, not from shame. It means growing because you care for yourself, not because you hate yourself. It means healing because you know you deserve peace, not because you think you are broken beyond love. Shame says, I must fix myself to be worthy. Love says, I am worthy, and from that worth I am free to grow. This is a very different energy. One makes the heart tight, the other makes the heart open. One lives in fear, the other lives in trust, and love grows best in trust. Think of a flower. It does not bloom because someone shouts at it. It does not open because it is judged. It opens because it is given light, water, time, and space. In much the same way, your heart opens under love. It opens under patience. It opens under kindness. It opens when it is not forced. It opens when it feels safe. So if you have been trying to heal through harshness, let this truth touch you today. The heart does not bloom through rejection. It blooms through acceptance. The more accepted you feel within yourself, the more natural love becomes. There are many ways people try to escape the pain of not loving themselves. Some stay busy all the time. Some try to be perfect. Some try to control everything. Some become people pleasers. Some become distant. Some become hard. Some become overly dependent. Some hide behind success. Some hide behind silence. But beneath all of that is often the same hunger to feel safe, loved, and enough. Self-love answers that hunger in the deepest way. It does not answer it through performance. It answers it through presence. It answers it by saying, I will not leave myself. I will not keep denying my own worth. I will become a safe place for my own heart. And this changes the way you love others, because you are no longer loving from panic. You are no longer loving from lack. You are no longer loving just to avoid being abandoned. You are loving from choice. You are loving from fullness. You are loving from truth. That kind of love feels different. It does not grab. It does not beg. It does not keep score in the same painful way. It does not break so easily under pressure. It has room. It has breath. It has peace. And peace is what makes love easier. Some people fear that if they really accept themselves, they will stop trying, stop caring, or stop growing. But acceptance is not the end of growth. It is the beginning of healthy growth. It is the end of fear-led growth. It is the beginning of love-led growth. When you accept yourself, you become more honest, not less. You become more willing to see your patterns because you are no longer terrified that seeing them will destroy your worth. You become more open to healing because healing no longer feels like punishment. You become more able to change because change is no longer tied to shame. This is why acceptance is so powerful. It makes transformation possible without violence to the self. You may ask, how do I know when I am beginning to love and accept myself? Often the signs are quiet. You start speaking to yourself with more kindness. You recover from hard moments faster. You stop needing everyone to agree with you. You feel less need to explain yourself all the time. You rest without as much guilt. You can be alone without feeling abandoned. You can be with others without losing yourself. You stop making every flaw into a final truth about who you are. You start believing in your own goodness a little more each day. These are sacred signs. They show that the heart is healing. The truth remains so simple. Loving others is easy when you love and accept yourself. Easy does not mean effortless every moment. Easy means more natural, more peaceful, less tangled, less fearful, less painful. Love flows more freely when it does not have to force its way through layers of self-rejection. Love feels safer when your own heart is not an enemy to you. Love becomes more honest when you are no longer hiding from yourself. And so the deepest healing may not be outside you at all. It may be in the simple daily choice to meet yourself with compassion and say, I am willing to love the one I have been so hard on. I am willing to accept the one I have tried to change before I was ready to embrace. I am willing to let love begin here. Now place your hand gently over your heart and let yourself slow down enough to feel the words before you even say them. There is power in soft words when they are spoken with truth. There is healing in a simple sentence when it is repeated with love. The main affirmation for today is this: I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. Say it slowly in your heart. I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. Do not rush. Let each word land gently. Let each word soften something in you. Let each word become like warm light entering a place that has been cold for too long. I love and accept myself. These first words alone can begin a great healing. For many people, saying them may feel easy with the lips and difficult in the chest. That is all right. You do not need to force belief. You do not need to pretend. You do not need to make the words perfect. You only need to be willing. Even willingness is healing. Even saying, I am learning to love and accept myself is a doorway. Even whispering these words through tears is still truth in motion. Healing often begins before full belief arrives. It begins with a small opening. It begins with a soft yes. It begins with the simple choice to stop feeding the old pain and start planting something kinder. When you say, I love and accept myself, you are not making a shallow statement. You are making a sacred choice. You are choosing to stand with yourself instead of against yourself. You are choosing to become a friend to your own heart. You are choosing to stop making rejection your daily language. You are choosing to no longer make perfection the condition for tenderness. You are choosing to stop saying, I will be worthy later. You are choosing to claim your worth now. That is no small thing. That is a holy change in direction. That is the soul turning toward light. And then comes the second part of the affirmation. And love flows through me with ease. This part is so beautiful because it reminds you that love is not something you must squeeze out of a tired, wounded heart by force. Love flows, love moves, love opens. Love becomes easier when it is not blocked by fear, shame, self-hate, or the belief that you are not enough. If you have ever felt that loving others is hard, heavy, confusing, or painful, this affirmation gently shows you why. Love does not move well through a heart that is always defending itself against itself. But when the heart begins to feel safe, love starts flowing again. So let us say the full affirmation once more, slowly and with care. I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. Say it again. I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. Let these words become a rhythm in your breath. Let them move through you like soft water. Let them reach the parts of you that have been hungry for kindness. There may be places inside you that have not heard words like these in a very long time. There may be parts of your heart that are still waiting for permission to rest. Give them this moment. Give them this truth. Give them these words. Affirmations are not magic words that replace real healing. They are loving seeds. They are gentle instructions. They are spiritual reminders. They help turn the mind toward truth again and again until the heart begins to trust it. The mind learns through repetition. The heart softens through repetition. Life changes through repetition. The words you say every day become part of the world you live in. If you tell yourself every day that you are not enough, the body feels it, the nervous system feels it, the relationships feel it, the energy of your day feels it. But if you begin telling yourself each day, I love and accept myself, something new begins to grow. Slowly, your inner world becomes less harsh. Slowly, your body begins to settle. Slowly, your spirit begins to believe that peace is possible. Each time you repeat this affirmation, you are doing more than thinking a good thought. You are choosing a new inner direction. You are saying, I no longer want to live under the rule of self-rejection. I no longer want my life to be shaped by the belief that I am not enough. I no longer want love to feel difficult because I have closed the door within myself. I am willing to open. I am willing to receive. I am willing to become a softer place. To live, that willingness is powerful. That willingness alone can begin to undo years of pain. Perhaps you have spent many years saying the opposite without even knowing it. Perhaps your hidden affirmations have sounded like this. I am too much. I am not enough. I always get it wrong. No one really stays. Love is hard. People leave. I have to prove myself. I have to earn rest. I have to earn love. I must not disappoint anyone. I must be better. I must not fail. These hidden affirmations shape life more than most people realize. They become the quiet music under your day. They shape your energy. They shape your body. They shape your expectations. They shape the kind of love you believe is possible. That is why a new affirmation matters so much. It changes the music. It changes the inner atmosphere. It changes the direction of your healing. I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. Notice how different this feels. There is no struggle in it. There is no threat in it. There is no condition in it. The words do not say, I will love myself when I fix everything. They do not say, I will accept myself when everyone else does. They do not say, love will flow through me when I become perfect. No, the truth is offered now. Love is invited now. Acceptance is chosen now. Ease is allowed now. This is what makes the affirmation so healing. It does not wait for another version of you. It blesses the you that is here today. Say the first part again by itself. I love and accept myself. Let it be enough for this moment. Let it be enough if nothing else changes today. Let it be enough if your mind still has doubts. Let it be enough if your heart feels tender. The soul does not need loud truth. The soul often needs simple truth, spoken often, spoken gently, spoken with sincerity. I love and accept myself. Feel how these words invite you home. They ask nothing from you except presence. They do not ask you to prove your worth. They simply remind you of it. Now say the second part by itself. Love flows through me with ease. There is something freeing in those words. They remind you that love does not need to be forced. They remind you that your nature is not broken. They remind you that beneath the fear, beneath the old hurt, beneath the learned defenses, there is still a loving heart. There is still goodness in you. There is still kindness in you. There is still room for tenderness in you. Love flows through me with ease. This is not just about loving others. It is about letting love move through your words, your thoughts, your body, your choices, your whole being. You may wonder what it means for love to flow through you with ease. It means that love no longer gets stopped by constant self-criticism. It means that kindness no longer has to fight against shame all day long. It means your heart is not so busy protecting old wounds that it cannot stay open in the present moment. It means you are able to care without fear taking over every act of care. It means you are able to receive kindness without pushing it away. It means you are able to forgive yourself more quickly. It means you are able to see others through gentler eyes because you are finally seeing yourself through gentler eyes too. There is no need to rush this process. Affirmations are like drops of clear water falling into dry earth. One drop may seem small, but over time the earth softens. Over time life returns. Over time what once felt hard begins to open. So if you have been dry with self-hate, tired from self-pressure, or aching from the habit of never being enough, let this affirmation become your daily water. Let it reach the places in you that have long been waiting for tenderness. Let it remind your mind that there is another way to live. You can use this affirmation in many simple ways. Say it in the morning before the world asks anything of you. Say it before you look at your phone. Say it before you start your work. Say it when you notice yourself comparing. Say it when you feel rejected. Say it when you feel ashamed. Say it when you feel lonely. Say it when you are hard on yourself. Say it when you are learning how to receive love without fear. Say it when you are trying again. Say it when you have made a mistake. Say it when you are resting. Say it when you need to come home to yourself. I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. Imagine beginning your day with this truth instead of a list of worries. Imagine placing your hand on your heart in the morning and saying, I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. Imagine letting that be the tone of your day. How would you speak differently? How would you move differently? How would you meet people differently? How would you meet yourself differently? A day that begins with self-acceptance often unfolds with more peace, not because nothing hard happens, but because you are not starting the day already turned against yourself. You are starting the day in relationship with yourself. You are starting the day in love. And if the mind resists, that is all right. The mind may say, "This is not true." The mind may say, "You do not deserve these words." The mind may say, "You are just saying things." But the loving heart answers softly, "I am learning a new way. I am planting new seeds. I am not here to repeat the old pain forever. I am allowed to choose a kinder truth." That is all the affirmation asks. It does not ask you to become perfect. It asks you to stay present with a better direction. It asks you to keep choosing love over rejection, one moment at a time. Sometimes the deepest healing happens when an affirmation meets a very real wound. Perhaps you say, "I love and accept myself," and suddenly sadness rises. Perhaps memories come. Perhaps grief comes. Perhaps you see how long you have waited for someone else to tell you what you needed to hear from within. Let that be part of the healing too. Let the tears be welcome. Let the tenderness be welcome. Let the old pain come into the light, not to rule you, but to be held in love at last. The affirmation is not trying to cover pain. It is trying to comfort pain. It is trying to open a door where there was once only silence. I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. This can become more than a sentence. It can become a way of living. It can become the way you return to yourself in every season. On easy days, it will keep you grounded. On painful days, it will keep you gentle. On confusing days, it will keep you connected to truth. On lonely days, it will remind you that you do not abandon yourself. On joyful days, it will help you receive the good without fear. It can become your anchor. It can become your prayer. It can become your new inner atmosphere. There is also great healing in speaking the affirmation out loud. The body hears what the voice says. The ears hear what the heart longs for. The nervous system begins to calm when it is given safety in words. So do not be afraid to say it softly, even if only to yourself. Say it in the mirror. Say it while walking. Say it before sleep. Say it when you place your hand on your chest. Say it when you are learning to be kind to the life inside you. Over time, the words will stop feeling borrowed. Over time, they will start feeling like home. Let us stay with the affirmation a little longer. I love and accept myself. There is such peace in that. Love flows through me with ease. There is such freedom in that. Together, these words heal the root and the branches. They heal the inner world and the outer expression. They heal the way you hold yourself and the way you hold others. They heal the source and the flow. This is why they matter. This is why repeating them matters. Because when the root is loved, the fruit becomes sweeter. When the heart is accepted, love becomes easier to share, and perhaps that is the deepest gift of all. You are not saying these words only so that you may feel better within yourself, though that matters greatly. You are saying these words so that love may move more gently through your whole life, so that your relationships may be softer, so that your reactions may become calmer, so that your words may carry more peace, so that your presence may feel safer both to yourself and to others. Self-love is never only about the self. It becomes a blessing that touches everyone around you. So say it one more time now, slowly, with your whole heart if you can, or simply with your willingness, if that is what you have today. I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. Again, I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. Let those words stay with you. Let them settle into your breath. Let them move through your day. Let them become the beginning of a new inner life, one where love is no longer something you chase through exhaustion, but something that rises from within, because at last you are learning to give your own heart the welcome it has always needed. There is a reason love can feel so heavy when there is self-rejection inside. It is not because your heart is wrong. It is not because you are too broken to love or be loved. It is because the way you feel about yourself shapes the way you move through every relationship. When there is a quiet voice inside that says, I am not enough. I must be better. I must not make mistakes. I must not be rejected. Then even simple moments with other people can begin to feel painful. A small change in tone can feel like a wound. A little distance can feel like abandonment. A misunderstanding can feel like proof that something is wrong with you. This is what self-rejection does. It takes ordinary moments and fills them with fear. When you do not accept yourself, love often becomes mixed with tension. Part of you wants closeness, but another part is afraid of what closeness might reveal. You want to be seen, but you also fear being truly known. You want to be loved, but you do not fully believe that love can stay. So even when love comes near, it does not always feel safe. Sometimes it feels uncertain. Sometimes it feels like something you must protect, hold tightly, or earn again and again. This is why self-rejection makes love feel hard. It turns love into a test instead of a gift. It makes the heart feel like it must always be on guard. There are many quiet ways self-rejection shows up. Sometimes it looks like comparing yourself all the time and feeling less than others. Sometimes it looks like apologizing for your feelings before you even speak them. Sometimes it looks like hiding your needs because you fear they will be too much. Sometimes it looks like giving too much because you want to make sure you are not left behind. Sometimes it looks like staying silent when something hurts because you believe your pain does not matter enough. Sometimes it looks like overthinking every word, every look, every pause because you are trying to protect yourself from being rejected again. These patterns may look different on the outside, but deep down, they often come from the same place, a heart that has not yet learned to feel safe in its own love. If you have ever felt that you care deeply but still feel lonely in relationships, this may be why. You may be giving love, but inside you are still withholding acceptance from yourself. You may be present with others, but absent from your own heart. You may be asking others to reassure the part of you that only your own love can truly calm. This does not mean other people do not matter. It does not mean love from others is not typeful. It simply means there is a kind of healing that cannot be borrowed. There is a kind of safety that must be built within. And until that happens, even love can feel unstable. Self-rejection also makes love hard because it causes the heart to listen through pain. Imagine trying to hear a soft song while loud noise is playing all around you. The song may be beautiful, but you cannot fully hear it because something harsher is taking up all the space. In the same way, love may be present in your life, but if your mind is filled with criticism, shame, and fear, it becomes hard to receive that love clearly. The kind word from another person may not fully reach you. The caring gesture may not settle into your heart. The affection may be questioned. The support may be doubted, not because it is false, but because self-rejection makes it hard to trust what is gentle. There is also a deep tiredness that comes from not accepting yourself. When you are always trying to prove your value, love becomes work. When you are always trying to look worthy, be worthy, act worthy, and stay worthy, love stops feeling natural. It begins to feel like something you must constantly manage. You may feel pressure to be perfect, pressure to stay pleasing, pressure to never upset anyone, pressure to never show your weakness, pressure to keep everyone happy so that you do not lose your place in their life. That pressure is exhausting. And after a while, the heart becomes so tired that even love can feel like another burden to carry. This is one reason why some people become distant. It is not always because they do not care. Sometimes it is because caring feels dangerous when self-love is missing. If deep inside you feel unworthy, then opening your heart can feel like standing in a storm without shelter. So you protect yourself, you close down, you hold back, you act like you do not need much, you keep things light, you avoid going too deep, you tell yourself you are fine alone. But often this distance is not peace. Often it is self-protection built on old pain. It is the heart trying to survive without knowing yet that it can be safe in love. Other people move in the opposite direction. Instead of pulling away, they cling tightly. They become anxious. They need constant signs that everything is okay. They fear silence. They fear change. They fear not being chosen. They fear being forgotten. They may overgive, overthink, and overwork for love. Again, this is not because they are weak. It is because self-rejection creates fear, and fear tries to hold on tightly to anything that feels like safety. But love cannot breathe well in panic. Love grows best where there is steadiness. Love feels easier when the heart is not always trying to save itself from imagined loss. When you reject yourself, you may also begin to reject the parts of you that most need compassion. You may reject your sadness, your needs, your flaws, your tenderness, your mistakes, your past, your body, your emotions, your changing seasons. But the parts of you that are rejected do not disappear. They wait, they ache, they call for care, and often they show up in relationships. They show up as fear, anger, need, silence, or confusion. What is pushed down inside does not stay quiet forever. It enters the way you love. That is why loving yourself is not a side issue. It is the heart of healing. It is how you stop carrying hidden pain into every connection. Think of how hard it is to offer patience to others when you offer none to yourself. Think of how hard it is to trust another person when you do not trust your own worth. Think of how hard it is to feel at peace in love when your own mind keeps telling you that you are not enough. Inner rejection creates outer struggle. The relationship may not always be the deepest problem. Sometimes the struggle is that your own heart has been living without your kindness for too long. And when the heart feels abandoned inside, it searches for rescue outside. It searches for constant proof. It searches for guarantees that no human being can fully give. This is why self-rejection often makes people expect too much or too little from love. Some expect another person to heal everything. Some expect nothing good at all. Some keep asking for signs because they never feel safe. Some do not ask for anything because they believe they deserve nothing. In both cases, pain is shaping love. In both cases, the heart is still trying to learn its own value. But real healing begins when you stop asking love to fix your worth and start letting love remind you of the worth that is already there. There is also shame hidden inside self-rejection, and shame makes love feel very hard. Shame says, if people really knew me, they would not stay. Shame says, I must hide certain parts of myself to be loved. Shame says, if I make one mistake, I may lose everything. Shame says, I am one flaw away from rejection. When shame lives in the heart, love becomes frightening because love asks to be real. Love asks to be seen. Love asks for openness. But shame fears openness. Shame wants masks. Shame wants control. Shame wants to stay hidden. And the more hidden you feel, the more alone you feel, even in the presence of care. If this touches something tender in you, be gentle with yourself. These patterns were not made in one day, and they do not melt in one day. Many people learn self-rejection very early. They learn to doubt themselves. They learn to fear being too much or not enough. They learn to earn love through effort, silence, achievement, or sacrifice. They learn to turn against themselves because they thought that was the only way to survive. So if love has felt hard, it does not mean you failed. It may simply mean that your heart has been carrying a lesson that no longer serves you, and now you are ready to learn a softer truth. The softer truth is this: love becomes easier when you stop making yourself the enemy. Love becomes easier when you stop speaking to yourself in ways that wound your spirit. Love becomes easier when you stop demanding perfection from your human heart. Love becomes easier when you begin to treat your own pain with tenderness instead of judgment. Self-acceptance does not remove every challenge from relationships, but it changes the energy you bring into them. It changes the fear beneath the surface. It changes the story you tell yourself. It changes how safe love feels in your body. Imagine what it would feel like to no longer carry the burden of proving your worth in every interaction. Imagine what it would feel like to stop reading every silence as danger. Imagine what it would feel like to let a kind word enter your heart without arguing with it. Imagine what it would feel like to say, I do not need to earn my place here. I do not need to twist myself into someone else's idea of lovable. I am worthy now. That kind of inner peace changes everything. It removes so much strain from the act of loving. It allows the heart to rest, and a resting heart loves more freely. The truth is not that self-rejection makes you unlovable. The truth is that self-rejection makes it harder for you to feel the love that is present, and harder for you to give love without fear. That is why healing begins here, not with more performance, not with more pretending, not with more pressure, but with honesty and compassion, with the courage to notice where you have been hard on yourself, with the willingness to stop, with the choice to say, I am done making love difficult by turning against my own heart. I am ready for a softer way. I am ready to love myself enough that love can feel lighter again. The moment you begin to accept yourself, even a little, something inside starts to soften. The fight grows quieter. The pressure eases. The heart no longer feels like it must always defend itself from itself. This is the peace that self-acceptance brings. It is not loud. It does not arrive with force. It often enters gently, like warm light filling a room that has been dark for a long time. One small act of kindness toward yourself can begin to change the feeling of your whole inner world. One moment of compassion can begin to untie years of tension. One quiet thought, spoken with love, can become the start of a new life inside you. Self-acceptance brings peace because it ends the constant battle of trying to become worthy. When you accept yourself, you stop living as if love is a prize you must earn. You stop treating your value like something that rises and falls with every success, every mistake, every opinion, and every hard day. You begin to understand that your worth is not changing from moment to moment. It is already there, steady beneath the noise, and when you begin to live from that truth, the nervous strain of always proving yourself starts to fade. Shamiki. You can breathe more deeply. You can rest more easily. You can let yourself be human without feeling like your humanity is a problem. There is so much peace in no longer having to hide. That is one of the quiet gifts of self-acceptance. When you accept yourself, you no longer spend so much energy trying to cover every flaw, hide every fear, and protect every weak place from being seen. You stop living like you must be perfect to deserve love. You stop wearing masks that are too heavy for the soul. And when those masks begin to fall away, there is relief, there is freedom, there is a calm that comes from being real. It is such a peaceful thing to no longer run from yourself. Self-acceptance also brings peace because it helps you stay with yourself in hard moments. Before healing, many people leave themselves when pain rises. They turn inward with blame. They attack themselves. They say, "What is wrong with me? Why am I like this? Why am I not stronger? Why can I not do better?" But acceptance changes that inner response. Acceptance says, "You are hurting right now, and I will not leave you." Acceptance says, "This is hard, and you still deserve kindness." Acceptance says, "You are struggling, and that does not make you unworthy." This kind of inner support creates deep peace. It teaches the heart that it is no longer alone. When you accept yourself, relationships begin to feel different too. You do not take every hard moment as proof that you are failing. You do not crumble so quickly under discomfort. You do not panic as easily when someone else is quiet, tired, distant, or imperfect. Why? Because your own peace does not depend completely on what is happening outside you. There is now a place of steadiness within. There is now a voice inside that can soothe, guide, and hold you. That inner steadiness makes love feel calmer. It makes connection feel safer. It allows you to care without becoming lost in fear. Self-acceptance brings peace because it removes the sharp edge of constant self-judgment. Imagine how exhausting it is to be watched all day by a harsh inner voice, a voice that finds fault in everything, a voice that says you should be better, faster, calmer, stronger, smarter, more loved, more wanted, more successful, more perfect. That voice creates so much inner noise, it makes even simple days feel heavy. But when acceptance begins, that voice loses some of its power. A new voice rises, a voice that is softer and wiser, a voice that says, "You are learning. You are enough in this moment. You are allowed to grow gently. You are allowed to be at peace now, not only when everything is fixed." Peace does not mean you never have doubts. Peace does not mean you never feel pain. Peace does not mean life becomes without challenge. Peace means the challenge no longer pulls you away from yourself so quickly. It means doubt no longer becomes a reason to hate yourself. It means pain no longer becomes proof that you are failing. It means you can sit with what is true without turning it into a weapon against your own heart. That is a deep form of peace. It is not the peace of a perfect life. It is the peace of a loving relationship with yourself. There is also peace in no longer comparing yourself all the time. Self-rejection is often full of comparison. It looks at others and says, they are better, they are more loved, they are more beautiful, more worthy, more enough. Comparison steals peace because it keeps your eyes everywhere except on the truth of your own being. But self-acceptance gently turns you back toward yourself. It says, your path is your path, your healing is your healing. Your worth is not less because someone else shines too. There is room for everyone. There is room for you. And when you stop measuring your value against everyone around you, your heart can finally rest. Another beautiful thing happens when you accept yourself. You stop asking perfection to do the work that love was meant to do. For so long, Many people believe peace will come when they finally become good enough, but good enough keeps moving when it is built on fear. There is always another goal, another standard, another reason to wait before allowing rest. Self-acceptance ends that endless chase. It says, I can love myself here, I can rest here, I can begin from here, and that changes everything. Peace enters when you stop postponing love. Self-acceptance also softens the body. It is not only the mind and heart that feel it, the body feels it too. The shoulders drop, the jaw relaxes, the breath deepens, the chest opens. The constant effort of protecting yourself from yourself begins to lift. So much tension in the body comes from the inner message that you are not safe unless you perform, fix, or control more. But acceptance brings another message. It tells the body, you can rest now. You do not have to keep proving that you deserve to be here. You are allowed to be held by your own kindness. This is healing not only in thought, but in the whole being. Think about how much easier it is to be patient with others when you are patient with yourself. Think about how much easier it is to forgive another person when you are not carrying endless blame inside. Think about how much easier it is to stay kind in a difficult moment when your own heart is not already worn out from inner battle. Self-acceptance does not only bless you, it blesses the love you give. It blesses the energy you bring into a room. It blesses your words, your tone, your presence. Peace inside becomes peace shared. Sometimes self-acceptance begins in very small ways. It begins when you speak to yourself gently after a mistake. It begins when you stop asking yourself to be more than human. It begins when you notice your pain and respond with care instead of shame. It begins when you choose rest without needing to earn it. It begins when you say, I may not have it all figured out, but I am still worthy of love. These moments may seem simple, but they are sacred. They are the building blocks of peace. They are how the heart learns safety again. There is also peace in accepting your past, not approving of everything, not pretending nothing hurt, but no longer using the past as a reason to reject yourself now. Many people carry old versions of themselves with so much shame. They keep returning to what they should have known, what they should have done, what they wish they had done differently. But acceptance says, I can hold my past with compassion. I can honor who I was and still choose who I am becoming. I do not need to hate the old me to love the present me. That truth brings so much peace. It ends a long inner war that never needed to continue. Self-acceptance makes love softer because it takes away the constant hunger to be completed by someone else. When you accept yourself, you begin to feel whole enough to love freely. You can still want closeness. You can still desire connection. You can still long for deep, beautiful love. But you no longer need another person to make you believe you matter. That is such a peaceful shift. Love becomes less desperate, less fearful, less tangled. It becomes something you share, not something you use to prove your worth. And in that space, love breathes more easily. Peace is also the natural result of telling yourself the truth. The truth is not that you must become someone else to be lovable. The truth is not that you must hide your flaws to deserve care. The truth is not that your mistakes cancel your worth. The truth is that you are already enough to be treated with tenderness, beginning by you. When you finally let that truth into your life, something deep begins to relax. You no longer have to carry so much. You no longer have to hold yourself so tightly. You can soften into your own humanity. Imagine living with this kind of peace every day. Imagine waking up and not beginning with criticism. Imagine moving through your day without the constant fear of being wrong, too much, or not enough. Imagine being able to make mistakes and still remain kind to yourself. Imagine being able to love others without losing your center. This is what self-acceptance offers, not perfection, but peace, not a life without challenge, but a heart that is no longer always at war, and that peace is powerful. It changes the way you speak, the way you listen, the way you love, and the way you live. So if your soul has been tired, let this truth be a place to rest. Self-acceptance brings peace because it allows you to stop fighting the life within you. It allows you to stand with yourself. It allows you to be on your own side. It allows love to feel less like a struggle and more like a natural movement of the heart. Peace begins when the inner voice becomes gentle. Peace begins when you decide that you no longer need to punish yourself into worthiness. Peace begins when you choose, little by little, to meet yourself with kindness. And from that peace, love becomes so much easier to give. There is a deeper spiritual truth beneath all of this, and it is very simple. Love is not something far away from you. Love is not only something you find in another person, or in a perfect moment, or in the approval of the world. Love lives within you already. It is part of your true nature. It is part of the life breathing through you right now. And when you begin to love and accept yourself, you are not creating love from nothing. You are removing what blocks it. You are opening the door to something that has always been there. This is the spiritual view of love. Love is not absent. It is waiting beneath fear, beneath shame, beneath the habit of rejecting yourself. So often people search for love as if it lives somewhere outside them, hidden in the next relationship, the next kind word, the next sign, the next season of life. But spiritual love begins with remembering. It begins with remembering that the heart was made for love. It begins with remembering that your soul is not separate from the source of love. It begins with remembering that when you are gentle with yourself, you are not doing something small. You are returning to truth. You are coming back to the place where love already lives. That is why self-acceptance feels so healing. It does not only comfort the mind, it reconnects you with something sacred. When you judge yourself harshly, it is as though you close the curtains to the light. The light has not disappeared, but the room feels dark because you have shut it out. In the same way, when you reject yourself, you may begin to feel cut off from peace, cut off from grace, cut off from love itself. But the spiritual truth is that love has not left you. The light is still there. The curtain can be opened. The heart can soften. The soul can remember. And each loving thought you offer yourself is like opening the window a little wider. Each act of self-kindness lets more light in. Love from a spiritual place is not something you force. It is something you allow. The more you stop fighting yourself, the more love can move through you naturally. The more you stop clinging to fear, the more peace can settle in your heart. The more you stop believing that you must earn your place in love, the more clearly you can feel that love has always been holding you. There is great spiritual freedom in this. You no longer have to chase what is already within reach. You no longer have to prove yourself worthy of what was always part of your soul. This is why loving yourself is not selfish. It is a sacred act. It is a way of honoring the life within you. It is a way of saying yes to the goodness that exists at the center of your being. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, you are aligning with that goodness. Every time you forgive yourself, you are aligning with mercy. Every time you accept yourself as a growing, healing human being, you are aligning with truth. Spiritual love is not perfect behavior. It is the willingness to return to love again and again, even after fear, even after pain, even after forgetting. There is also a beautiful connection between self-love and the way you see the world. When you are full of inner judgment, the world can seem hard, cold, or unsafe. But when self-acceptance begins to grow, your eyes change. You begin to notice kindness more easily. You begin to feel beauty more deeply. You begin to trust life a little more. You begin to see that softness is not weakness and that peace is not foolish. The love you grow inside changes the lens through which you meet the world. This is why spiritual healing is never only private. It changes what you notice. It changes what you expect. It changes what you allow yourself to receive. In a spiritual sense, loving yourself helps you remember that you belong to life. You are not outside of grace. You are not forgotten by love. You are not separate from the peace you long for. When you reject yourself, you can begin to feel cut off from that belonging. But when you accept yourself, you feel connected again. You feel held again. You feel that your life has a place in the great flow of love. This kind of knowing brings calm to the heart. It says, I do not have to fight so hard. I do not have to carry everything alone. I can trust that love is here, even now. Think of a river flowing quietly through a beautiful, wide land. The river does not struggle to be water. It does not wake each day and ask if it deserves to flow. It simply moves according to its nature. In the same way, love is part of your deeper nature, but fear, shame, and self-rejection can place stones in the river. They can block the flow. They can make the movement feel stuck or heavy. Spiritual healing is not about becoming someone else. It is about gently removing the stones. It is about allowing the natural current of love to move again, and one of the most powerful ways to do that is to stop rejecting yourself. There is something deeply holy in the sentence, I accept myself. It may sound simple, but it reaches far into the soul. It says, I will no longer stand apart from my own life. I will no longer keep love outside the door of my own heart. I will no longer believe that I must become someone else before I am worthy of peace. Spiritual growth often begins right there, not in trying to be more impressive, not in trying to be more perfect, but in becoming more honest, more gentle, more open to the love that is already present. When you begin to feel this kind of love within, it naturally flows outward. You become less guarded, less afraid, less eager to control every outcome. Your presence becomes softer, your words become warmer, your listening becomes deeper. Other people may not even know why they feel more peaceful around you, but I will feel it. Love within becomes love around you. Self-acceptance does not make you close your heart to the world. It makes you a clearer channel for care, for compassion, for peace. This is one of the spiritual gifts of healing. The love you practice inwardly becomes the love you offer outwardly. This is also why loving others becomes easier when you love and accept yourself. Spiritually, what you are full of is what overflows. If you are full of fear, fear spills into your relationships. If you are full of shame, shame colors the way you receive and give love. But if you begin to fill with kindness, compassion, and acceptance, then those qualities begin to overflow too. Love is no longer something you try to perform from emptiness. It becomes the natural overflow of an inner connection. It becomes simpler, softer, more peaceful, more true. Sometimes people think spiritual love means always feeling calm, always feeling kind, always feeling above pain. But real spiritual love is not pretending. It is not denying what hurts. It is not acting peaceful while the heart is breaking inside. Real spiritual love tells the truth with tenderness. It says, "This hurts, and I will still meet myself with care." It says, "I am struggling, and I do not lose my worth because I am struggling." It says, "I am human, and that humanity is not a failure." This kind of honesty is deeply spiritual because it does not separate truth from love. It lets them walk together. The more you connect with love inside, the more you stop chasing it in desperate ways outside. You may still desire beautiful connection, and that is natural. You may still enjoy affection, support, closeness, and companionship, but you no longer feel so empty without them. You no longer feel as though your whole worth hangs on whether someone chooses you today. There is a steadiness inside now. There is a spiritual center. There is a place in you that knows, "I am already held by life. I am already loved at the deepest level." That knowing makes outer love feel less frightening and more beautiful. You may have moments when you lose touch with this truth. Everyone does. There may be days when fear speaks louder than love, days when you feel separate, forgotten, unsure, or small. But even then, the spiritual view of love remains the same. Love has not gone anywhere. The light is still there. The river is still flowing beneath the stones. The truth is still waiting beneath the noise, and you can return. That is one of the most comforting spiritual truths of all. You can return with one breath, one prayer, one soft thought, one act of self-kindness. You can return to love. So let this settle deep into your heart. The love you seek is not apart from you. It lives within you. The peace you long for is not locked away from you. It begins when you stop rejecting your own soul. The more you return to love within, the more love you begin to see outside, the more you accept yourself. The more connected you feel to life, to grace, to healing, and to all the quiet goodness that surrounds you. This is the spiritual view of love. Love is not missing, love is present, and every gentle act of self-acceptance helps you remember that truth more clearly. Now let yourself become very still for a moment. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to solve anything. You do not need to understand everything all at once. Just soften, just breathe. Let this be a quiet moment between you and your own heart. If you want to, you can gently close your eyes or simply lower your gaze and let your attention turn inward. Take one slow breath in and let it fill your chest with softness. Then breathe out and let your body loosen a little more. Allow your shoulders to relax. Allow your face to soften. Allow your heart to feel safe enough to rest here. Now imagine there is a warm light in the center of your chest. It is not too bright. It is gentle, peaceful, and kind. It glows with a soft golden warmth, like the first sunlight of morning. This light is love. This light is acceptance. This light is healing. It has always been there. Even on the days when you forgot it, it has always been there. Even through the moments when you were hard on yourself, doubtful of yourself, or distant from your own heart, the light did not leave. It simply waited with patience for you to become still enough to feel it again. See this golden light resting in your heart like something sacred. It is calm, it is steady, it does not rush you, it does not judge you, it does not ask you to become someone else before it will stay. It simply shines. It is the love within you that has never truly left. It is the truth that you are still worthy, still whole in spirit, still deserving of tenderness. Let yourself notice how this light feels. Perhaps it feels warm, perhaps it feels peaceful, perhaps it feels new, perhaps it feels familiar, like coming home after being away from yourself for a long time. As you breathe gently, imagine this warm golden light growing a little larger. With every breath in, it becomes softer and fuller. With every breath out, it begins to spread through your body. It moves from your heart into your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your hands. It moves into your throat, softening the words you speak to yourself. It moves into your face, relaxing the places where tension has gathered. It moves into your stomach, into your back, into every place where fear has been held. This light does not force anything. It simply reaches what is ready to be touched by love. Now let the light move into the parts of you that have felt unseen. Let it flow toward the part of you that has been trying so hard to be enough. Let it flow toward the part of you that has carried old sadness. Let it reach the places in you that still feel uncertain, wounded, tired, or afraid. There is no need to hide those places. There is no need to be ashamed of them. Let the light hold them. Let the light say what perhaps no one said often enough. You are safe here. You are worthy here. You are loved here. Let yourself receive that. Not all at once, not perfectly, just gently. Now imagine that with this warm light surrounding your heart, you place your hand over your chest and quietly say within yourself, I love and accept myself. Say it again, slowly, with tenderness. I love and accept myself. Notice what happens inside when you say those words in the presence of this light. Perhaps your heart opens a little. Perhaps your body relaxes a little more. Perhaps emotion rises. That is all right. Let whatever comes be welcome. This is not a moment to fix yourself. This is a moment to be with yourself in love. See the golden light becoming even softer and fuller now, as though it knows exactly where to go. It moves into your memories, especially the ones where you felt not enough. It moves into the places where you learned to doubt yourself. It moves into the moments when you felt unseen, unwanted, or afraid. It does not erase the past, but it brings healing to the way it still lives in you. It gently surrounds the old pain and says, you do not have to carry this alone anymore. You do not have to keep proving your worth. You do not have to keep living from that wound. Love is here now. Now imagine that this light is not only within you, but all around you. It surrounds you like a soft circle of peace, above you, below you, behind you, before you, on every side. There is this warm and loving presence. You are held in it. You are resting inside it. Nothing needs to be forced here. Nothing needs to be earned here. You are simply allowed to be. Feel how different that is from striving. Feel how different that is from trying to become lovable. In this space, you do not need to become lovable. You already are. The only thing left is to let yourself feel it. Now imagine that from this light, love begins to flow outward from your heart, not because you are making it happen, but because it moves naturally when you are at peace within. It flows into your words, making them gentler. It flows into your eyes, making them softer. It flows into your presence, making it calmer. It flows into the way you meet other people, making love feel easier, freer, and less afraid. You begin to understand in this quiet moment that love does not become easier because the world changes first. Love becomes easier because something inside you has opened. Let this truth settle gently into you now. The more I love myself, the more freely love can move through me. You do not need to say it loudly, just let it rest in your awareness. The more I love myself, the more freely love can move through me. Feel the peace in that. Feel the safety in that. Feel the freedom in that. You are not being asked to force love. You are being invited to allow it. You are being invited to see. Stop fighting yourself long enough to let love rise from where it has always lived. Take another slow breath and imagine this golden light staying with you. You do not have to leave it behind when this moment ends. You do not have to wait for another day to feel it again. This light is your reminder. It is your inner source. It is the quiet love within that can be returned to again and again. Whenever life feels too heavy, you can come back here. Whenever fear tries to tell you that you are not enough, you can return here. Whenever you begin to forget your worth, you can place your hand on your heart, breathe gently, and remember the light. Now rest for a moment in this feeling. Let your heart receive. Let your body soften. Let your soul remember that love is not outside your reach. It is already within you, waiting to be welcomed. And as you breathe in this light, allow yourself to know, even if only a little more than before, that you are worthy of your own love. You are worthy of your own tenderness. You are worthy of your own acceptance. And from this place, love can flow through you with so much more ease. As this warm feeling stays with you, there is something else your heart is ready for now. It is ready to let go. It is ready to release what has been standing in the way of love. Not because you must force yourself to change in one moment, but because the soul becomes lighter when it is no longer carrying what does not belong to it. So many people want more love in their lives, but they are still holding on to thoughts, wounds, and habits that block the flow of love from within. They are holding on to old shame. They are holding on to self-criticism. They are holding on to the pressure to be perfect. They are holding on to pain that says, if I protect myself enough, maybe I will never be hurt again. But love cannot move freely through a heart that is always armored against itself. So now, in this gentle space, begin to notice what you may be carrying that no longer needs to stay. Perhaps you are carrying old words that were spoken over you long ago, words that made you doubt your value, words that made you feel too much or not enough. Perhaps you are carrying the habit of judging yourself for every mistake. Perhaps you are carrying a belief that you have to earn love by being pleasing, useful, perfect, or strong all the time. Perhaps you are carrying shame from the past, hurt from a relationship, or fear that says, if I truly open my heart, I may be rejected. Whatever it is, let yourself notice it with honesty and kindness. There is no blame here, only awareness, only the beginning of release. Imagine that all of these old burdens are gathering gently in your hands now, not to weigh you down, but so that you can finally see them clearly. Here is the self-criticism you have repeated so many times. Here is the shame you have carried in silence. Here is the pain that made. You believe you had to become someone else to be loved. Here is the fear that made you close your heart. Here is the old story that said, I am not enough. You do not need to push these things away with anger. You do not need to fight them. Just notice that you have carried them long enough. Just notice how tired you are of holding them. Just notice that your heart is ready for a gentler way. Now take a slow breath and say within yourself, I release the old pain. I am willing to love myself now. Let those words move slowly through you. I release the old pain. I am willing to love myself now. This is such a powerful moment because willingness is the beginning of freedom. You do not have to know exactly how healing will happen. You do not have to force the old pain to leave all at once. You only have to become willing to stop feeding it every day. You only have to become willing to loosen your grip on what has kept your heart in fear. There are many things that block love, but one of the deepest is self-criticism. Self-criticism may sound like discipline, but it does not bring peace. It may sound like honesty, but often it is just hurt repeating itself. It tells you that you should be better by now. It tells you that your mistakes define you. It tells you that your flaws make you less worthy of love. But none of that is truth. Self-criticism does not heal the heart. It hardens it. It makes love feel distant. It turns your inner world into a place of pressure instead of peace. So today, let yourself release the need to be corrected through cruelty. Let yourself choose another voice. Let yourself choose kindness. Another thing that blocks love is shame. Shame tells you that there is something wrong with who you are. It does not only speak about what you have done, it speaks against your very being. That is why shame is so painful. It makes you hide. It makes you fear closeness. It makes you doubt whether love can truly stay if you are fully seen. But shame loses its power in the presence of compassion. Shame begins to melt when you stop agreeing with it. Shame begins to weaken when you say, I am not my worst moment. I am not the old pain. I am not the voice that wounded me. I am still worthy of love. That truth breaks something open. That truth begins to set the heart free. The need to be perfect also blocks love. Perfection may seem safe because it promises approval, but it creates endless tension. If you believe you must be perfect to be loved, then love will always feel uncertain, because no one can live in perfect form all the time. To be human is to learn, to change, to fall, to begin again. If you do not allow yourself that humanity, then love becomes a constant performance. It becomes something you try to secure through getting everything right. But real love does not ask for perfection. Real love asks for presence. Real love asks for honesty. Real love asks for a heart that is willing to stay open without pretending to be flawless. So now, release the need to be perfect. Let yourself be real. Let yourself be loved as a human being, not as an impossible idea. Old pain can also block love when it has never been met with tenderness. If you have been hurt before, it is natural that part of you may want to stay guarded. If you have been rejected, disappointed, or unseen, it makes sense that your heart learned caution. But protection that never softens can become a prison. It can keep out not only pain, but love itself. This is why healing asks you not to shame your defenses, but to gently loosen them. It asks you to tell the guarded parts of yourself, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I do not need to live entirely inside this fear anymore. I can learn safety another way. I can build it through self-love. I can create it through acceptance. I can let my heart breathe again." Take another breath and imagine that the burdens in your hands are growing lighter. The self-criticism is loosening. The shame is softening. The need to be perfect is melting. The old pain is no longer wrapped so tightly around your identity. You are not denying the past. You are simply choosing not to carry it in the same way. You are choosing not to let it define the way love moves through your life any longer. That is a sacred choice. That is healing in action. That is the heart beginning to free itself from what once felt like truth, but never truly was. Now imagine placing these old burdens into a field of light. Let the light receive them. Let the light hold what you no longer need to carry. You do not have to fix each burden one by one with effort. You do not have to heal through struggle. Sometimes healing happens because you finally stop clinging to what hurts. Sometimes healing begins because you allow yourself to be supported by something greater than fear. Let the light take what you have been holding. Let the weight leave your hands. Let the space inside you begin to open. As the burdens leave, notice what rises in their place. There is more room now, more breath, more softness, more quiet, more peace. This is what happens when love is no longer blocked by constant inner attack. This is what happens when shame begins to fade. This is what happens when you stop asking perfection to win you what love was always willing to give. You feel lighter because you are lighter. You feel calmer because there is less war inside. You feel more open because the heart has been given room to breathe. Say softly now, "I release the old pain. I am willing to love myself now." Again, I release the old pain. I am willing to love myself now. Let the words move through every part of you that has been waiting for permission to let go. Let them reach the tired places. Let them reach the frightened places. Let them reach the part of you that still thinks it must carry everything alone. These words are not a demand. They are an invitation. They are a gentle opening. They are the soul saying, "Enough of this pain, enough of this pressure, enough of this endless trying to be lovable. I am ready for something softer. I am ready for love." This release is not the end of healing, but it is a beautiful beginning. Every time you choose not to repeat the cruel old thought, you are releasing. Every time you pause before judging yourself, you are releasing. Every time you meet your fear with kindness instead of shame, you are releasing. Every time you stop trying to be perfect and choose to be honest instead, you are releasing. Healing is often made of these small, sacred moments, and over time, they change the direction of your whole inner life. There may still be days when old pain returns. There may still be moments when fear speaks loudly. There may still be times when self-doubt tries to rise again. But now you know something important. You do not have to believe every old voice. You do not have to carry every old burden. You do not have to build your life around pain that is ready to be released. You can return to love, you can return to acceptance, you can return to the truth that you are already worthy, even while healing, even while learning, even while letting go. So let this moment stay with you. Let it remind you that love is not blocked because there is something wrong with you. Love feels blocked because the heart has been carrying too much pain for too long. And now you are learning to release it. Now you are learning that the old story can soften. Now you are learning that you are safe enough to let love move again. And as the blocks begin to fall away, even gently, even slowly, you will feel it. Love will feel lighter. Peace will feel closer, and the heart will begin to remember what it is like to live without so much fear. Healing becomes real when it is brought into daily life. It is beautiful to understand these truths in quiet moments, but the heart changes most when love is practiced again and again in simple ways. That is why a daily practice matters so much. It gives your soul something steady to return to. It helps turn gentle ideas into lived experience. It teaches your heart a new rhythm. Little by little, day by day, a loving practice helps you build a new relationship with yourself, one rooted in acceptance, peace, and kindness. The goal is not perfection. The goal is returning to love, returning to truth, returning to yourself. One of the simplest and most powerful things you can do each morning is begin the day with one kind moment before the world asks anything of you. Before you pick up your phone, before you think about your tasks, before you begin comparing, rushing, or worrying, place your hand on your heart and take one slow breath, just one soft breath, to remind yourself that you are here, that life is moving through you, that this day can begin in peace. Then say quietly, "Today I choose a love, kindness, and acceptance for myself." Say it slowly. Let it be more than words. Let it become the tone of your morning. You can also look into your own eyes in the mirror for a moment. This may feel new. It may even feel uncomfortable at first. That is all right. You do not need to make it dramatic. Just look at yourself gently and say something loving, something true. You might say, "I am here for you today," or "I love and accept myself," or "I am worthy of kindness," or simply, "I choose to be gentle with myself today." These small words matter more than you think. The way you speak to yourself at the beginning of the day shapes the energy you carry into everything that follows. A loving beginning creates more space for a peaceful day. Another simple practice is to notice your inner voice throughout the day. You do not need to watch it with fear. You do not need to become tense about every thought. Just become aware. When you make a mistake, what do you say to yourself? When you feel tired, how do you respond? When you feel hurt, do you comfort yourself or criticize yourself? Awareness is healing. Awareness is the first step. Once you notice the old pattern, you can choose something new. If you catch yourself speaking harshly inside, pause and answer with kindness. You might say, "I am learning. I am allowed to be human. I do not need to attack myself right now." One gentle response can shift the whole feeling of a moment. There is also great healing in pausing during the day to come back to your breath. You do not need a long ritual. You only need a few seconds of return. Put a hand on your chest if that feels comforting. Breathe in slowly and think love. Breathe out slowly and think release. Breathe in love. Breathe out release. This tiny practice can help you reset when stress rises, when self-doubt appears, or when you feel yourself slipping back into old fear. Breath is a simple doorway back to peace. It reminds you that healing does not only happen in special moments, it can happen right in the middle of ordinary life. When pain comes up, answer it with kindness. This is one of the most important practices of all. Many people are willing to love themselves when they feel strong, happy, or successful. But true healing happens when you learn to stay kind to yourself in moments of struggle. If sadness rises, do not call yourself weak. If fear rises, do not call yourself broken. If you feel lonely, do not shame yourself for needing comfort. Meet the feeling the way you would meet someone you truly care about. Say, "This is hard, and I am with you." Say, "You do not have to carry this alone." Say, "I choose tenderness now. This is how trust is built within. This is how the heart learns that it is safe with you." A beautiful daily practice is also to speak one affirmation aloud in the morning and one again at night. Keep it simple. Let it be something your heart can hold. In the morning you might say, "I live and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease." At night you might say, "I did not have to be perfect today to be worthy of love," or "I am grateful for the healing happening within me." Repetition matters. The mind learns through what it hears again and again. The heart softens through what is repeated with sincerity. Let your affirmations become like gentle water, returning each day to the places within you that are growing. If it feels good to you, you can keep a journal nearby and write a few loving lines at the end of the day. They do not need to be long. You can simply ask yourself, where was I kind to myself today? Where was I hard on myself today? What do I need to hear right now? These questions can help you turn inward with honesty and compassion. They can help you notice your progress without pressure. They can help you see where healing is already happening, even in small ways. Sometimes the heart needs to hear from your own hand what it has long been waiting to know. I see you. I care about you. I am trying to love you better now. It is also helpful to choose gentle words through the day. Words matter. They shape how you feel. They shape the energy you bring into your life. If you are always saying, "I cannot handle this," "I always fail," "I never get it right," then the heart tightens around those words. But if you begin to say, "I am learning," "I can take this one step at a time," "I deserve patience too," then something in you begins to soften. This is not about pretending everything is easy. It is about no longer speaking against your own spirit. It is about choosing language that makes room for healing instead of fear. A daily practice of self-love also includes giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. So many people have learned to treat rest as something that must be earned, but a tired heart cannot love freely for long. A tired body cannot stay soft forever without support. Rest is not weakness, rest is care. Rest is respect for the life within you. So when you are tired, let that matter. When you need stillness, let that matter. When your body asks for gentleness, listen if you can. Loving yourself is not only about the words you speak, it is also about the care you allow. Another powerful practice is this. When you notice yourself reaching outward for approval, pause and offer some of that kindness inward first before asking the world to tell you that you are enough. Tell yourself, before waiting for someone else to soothe your fear, place a hand on your heart and breathe. Before believing that your worth depends on how someone responds to you, remind yourself of what is already true. You are worthy now. You are lovable now. You are allowed to belong to yourself now. The more you practice this, the less your peace will depend on every outside moment. There may be days when you forget. There may be days when old patterns return strongly. There may be days when the mirror feels hard, when the affirmations feel far away, when love feels difficult again. On those days, let your practice be even simpler. Do not punish yourself for forgetting. Do not turn a hard day into another reason to reject yourself. Just begin again. Begin with one breath. Begin with one kind thought. Begin with one hand on the heart. Begin with one simple truth. I am still worthy of love today. Healing is not about never falling back. It is about learning how to return with gentleness. The beauty of daily practice is that it slowly changes what feels natural. At first, self-kindness may feel unfamiliar. Self-acceptance may feel tender. Loving words may feel like something you are borrowing. But with time, repetition, and sincerity, they begin to take root. The mind becomes less harsh. The body becomes less tense. The heart becomes more trusting. Love begins to feel less like a struggle and more like a way of being. And this change does not happen through one big moment. It happens through many small, faithful moments of care. So let your daily practice be simple. Let it be loving. Let it be human. A hand on your heart in the morning. One loving sentence in the mirror. One pause in the middle of the day to breathe. One kind response to your pain. One evening reflection before sleep. These are small acts, but they are not small in their effect. They tell your heart again and again, I am no longer living against you. I am learning to live with you, to love you, to accept you. And from this steady, gentle practice, something beautiful begins to grow. Peace deepens, love softens, and your whole life begins to change from the inside out. Now let everything you have felt here settle gently into your heart. You do not need to hold it tightly. You do not need to remember every word. Just let the feeling remain. Let the softness remain. Let the truth remain. Loving others becomes easier when you love and accept yourself. This is not because you become perfect. It is not because life becomes without pain. It is because your heart no longer has to fight so hard for the love it was always meant to receive. It is because you stop asking the outside world to prove what your soul has already known. It is because you begin to live from a place of peace instead of pressure. You are worthy of love now, not later, not once you fix everything, not once you become calmer, stronger, more certain, more productive, or more perfect. Now, in this moment, in your humanness, in your tenderness, in your healing, in your becoming, you are worthy of kindness, beginning with your own. You are worthy of acceptance, beginning within your own heart. You are worthy of peace, even while you are still learning. This is what makes healing so beautiful. You do not have to wait until the end of the journey to begin receiving love. You can begin now. You can begin today. So take one slow breath with me again. Let the breath be easy. Let it be soft as you breathe in. Feel the warmth in your chest as you breathe out. Let go of some of the pressure you have been carrying. You do not have to prove so much anymore. You do not have to hold yourself so tightly anymore. You do not have to keep speaking to yourself through old pain. There is another way now. There is a gentler way now. There is a truer way now. It begins with love. It continues with acceptance. And little by little, it becomes peace. Place your hand over your heart once more and say softly, I love and accept myself. Again, I love and accept myself. Let that truth land where it needs to land. Let it reach the parts of you that still feel uncertain. Let it comfort the places in you that have been waiting for tenderness. Let it steady the places in you that have been afraid. Do not worry about making the words perfect. Let them be sincere. Let them be enough for this moment. I love and accept myself. Now say, I am worthy of love. Again, I am worthy of love. These words matter. They begin to loosen the old fear that says love must be earned. They begin to quiet the shame that says you are not enough. They begin to open the heart to receive what has always been offered. I am worthy of love. Let that truth settle into your body. Let it soften your breath. Let it become something your whole being is allowed to hear. And now say, as I heal within, love flows through my life. Again, as I heal within, love flows through my life. Feel the hope in that. Feel the freedom in that. You do not have to force love. You do not have to chase it in fear. You do not have to hold it together through pressure. The more you heal within, the more naturally love moves through your words, your thoughts, your presence, and your relationships. The more you accept yourself, the more love becomes something peaceful instead of painful. The more you soften inwardly, the more life begins to feel less like a struggle and more like a blessing you can actually receive. Maybe there was a time when you believed that being hard on yourself would make you stronger. Maybe there was a time when you believed that self-love was selfish or unnecessary. Maybe there was a time when you thought you had to become someone else before you could be loved deeply. But now you are learning something new. You are learning that real strength can be gentle. You are learning that peace comes from acceptance. You are learning that love becomes easier when the heart feels safe within itself. This is a sacred lesson. This is a healing truth, and it can stay with you long after this moment ends. As you move through your days, remember that every act of kindness toward yourself matters. Every gentle word matters. Every breath that returns you to peace matters. Every moment you choose not to judge yourself matters. Every time you begin again matters. Healing is not measured only in big changes. It is measured in the softness returning to your heart. It is measured in the peace that begins to stay longer. It is measured in the way love starts feeling less heavy and more natural. Trust the small steps. Trust the quiet changes. Trust the love that is growing within you. Let yourself believe that a new way of living is possible. A way where love is not so tangled with fear. A way where your worth is not debated every day. A way where your heart can open without always bracing for pain. A way where you can be kind to yourself and still grow. A way where peace is not something far away, but something you practice here, now, in the way you think, feel, speak, and breathe. That way is possible. It begins within. It begins with accepting yourself. It begins with allowing love to start at home inside your own heart. So if you need one simple truth to carry with you, let it be this. The more I love myself, the easier it is to love others. Say it softly. The more I love myself, the easier it is to love others. Again. The more I love myself, the easier it is to love others. Let it become your reminder when life feels complicated. Let it become your anchor when relationships feel hard. Let it become your quiet return whenever you begin to forget. Love begins within. Peace begins within. Healing begins within. And as this moment comes to a close, let gratitude rise gently in your heart. Gratitude for the breath moving through you. Gratitude for the love that still lives within you. Gratitude for your willingness to heal. Gratitude for the part of you that kept going, even through the days when you felt tired, doubtful, or far from peace. Gratitude for the simple truth that you can begin again as many times as needed, and love will still be here waiting for you. That is the grace of healing. That is the mercy of life. That is the beauty of returning to yourself. So breathe once more, slowly and softly, and let yourself rest in this knowing. I love and accept myself. I am worthy of love. As I heal within, love flows through my life. Let these words stay with you. Let them walk with you into your next moment, your next breath, your next day. Let them become part of the way you hold yourself. And may you remember again and again that the love you offer yourself is never wasted. It becomes peace within you. It becomes gentleness around you. It becomes the way your life begins to open. At the heart of all healing is this simple truth. When you love and accept yourself, love no longer feels so hard. It becomes softer. It becomes safer. It becomes something that can move through you naturally instead of something you must force or fear. Self-love is it's separate from the love you give others. It is the place that love begins. It is the root from which peace grows. It is the quiet home your heart has been longing for. The more you return to that home, the more freely love can flow through every part of your life. So carry this with you gently. Be patient with yourself. Be kind with yourself. Keep choosing the small, loving moments that help your heart feel safe again. And whenever you forget, whenever life feels heavy, whenever old fear tries to return, place your hand over your heart and remember, I love and accept myself, and love flows through me with ease. That truth is enough to begin. That truth is enough to return to, and that truth has the power to change the way you live, the way you heal, and the way you love.